Hi guys, welcome to Food with Chetna. Today I have got a special guest with me, Edd Kimber from the Great British Bake Off Series 1. He has got me his new book, Patisserie Made Simple, and you're going to show us a really nice recipe from here.
So it's a home version of a Buche de Noel, which is the classic French Christmas cake. So it's a really nice one if you're kind of doing things last minute, and also it is delicious. It's super tasty.
So where are we going to start?
So we're going to make a really simple whisk sponge. So 4 eggs straight into our bowl, and then all we're going to do is add our sugar. This is a really easy recipe to remember. It's 4 eggs, and then for each egg 25 grams of caster sugar, so 100 grams of sugar, and that's my basic ratio for a whisk sponge.
Okay.
That goes onto the mixer, and then turn that on to medium speed. So that's going to go for about 7 minutes until it's really tripled in volume, and you get a really thick, foamy mixture. So once it is whisked, and when you lift the whisk onto the surface, it should leave a ribbon that sits there for about a good 10 seconds or so, and it just shows you that you've got plenty of air, so you're going to get a really nice, light, airy sponge. So now we just have to mix in our flour and cocoa powder. So just mix the two together. We should have got a bigger bowl.
Yeah, I didn't realize you're going to mix these two there, but that's fine.
It's fine. So pour out our mixture into the bowl. All we're going to do now is sieve in our mixture now. So just very gently fold in about 1/3 at a time. Just distribute it as evenly as you can. Sometimes the cocoa will stick a bit, so just rub that through. And then all we do is just fold it gently until it's just combined. On the first and second folds, you don't need to do it until it's fully folded in, because you can finish it completely on the third one. And then we're gonna just pour it onto our tray. Yeah. So all we're gonna do now is really gently spread this out. And then once it's all the way in, that just needs to go in the oven for about 10 to 12 minutes, just until it springs back and it's ever so slightly firm. And that's at 180 or 160 if you're using a fan oven. Yeah. Cake is nicely baked, and all we've done is put a clean tea towel onto the kitchen surface, covered it with parchment paper, because all we're going to do is tip it out as soon as it comes out of the oven onto, come on. Whilst it's still hot, we have to unroll it, take off the parchment, so just very gently pull it on the side so it just pops off the sides, and then really gently just tease it off. And then we need to roll it up. So the easiest thing to do is use the tea towel to your advantage. So kind of fold over that excess edge and then fold it really tightly, because the tighter you roll it now, the nicer spiral you're going to get at the end. If you let it cool in the roll, it kind of has memory. And so as you unroll it, it will roll back up much easier, and it shouldn't crack. It might crack a little bit, but it shouldn't. So now we're going to make our buttercream. So all we need to do is take 2 eggs, and then we're going to take our caster sugar and then just whisk that together just until that's nicely combined. You're not trying to get air into this, you're just trying to make it combined. So you put this over the pan of simmering water and just keep it moving. And the way to test it's done is just dip your fingers in and rub it between your fingers. If you can feel sugar still, it's not ready.
Okay.
But if it's warm and the sugar's gone, then you can take it off the heat. So when our mixture's nice and hot and the sugar has melted and it's warm to the touch, you'll be able to tell it's, you don't want to leave your fingers in there for too long. Pop it onto our mixer, and then just turn it on to about a medium-high speed until it's cool. And that's really key. If the mixture's warm at all, when you add the butter, it will melt and you get a greasy mixture. So once our mixture's nice and cool, you've got this nice thick mixture again. So we've got room temperature butter, I'm gonna add it in by eye. Okay. What you want to do is add it a little bit at a time, because if you add it all at once, there's a chance it will melt in case you have underjudged how hot this will be. So again, turn it back on. Just gonna add a little bit of the butter at a time, and then suddenly it will just become buttercream. And then just changed. So it just becomes tighter and the emulsion is finished. So we're going to give it some flavor through 2 things. We're gonna use milk chocolate, and then a little bit of something rather special. We're going to use some praline paste. We're trying to replicate that Italian idea of gianduja, which is hazelnuts and chocolate, but obviously we're not using gianduja, we're kind of creating those flavors. Yes. So it's chocolate and hazelnut paste. So all we're going to do, we're going to add a little bit of this to our buttercream, 4 tablespoons, but you can add as much or as little as you want. Incorporate that in to kind of give it a rounder flavor and to kind of boost the flavor of the cake a little bit. We're just going to add a really small amount of milk chocolate, so just 50 grams. If you're being a little bit lazy, what you could do is just add Nutella, because it is both of those flavors in there. So that is our finished buttercream. It's kind of chocolatey, hazelnutty, and really smooth, silky, and delicious.
Now, the best bit.
Yes.
putting it all together.
Putting it all together. So we've got all our elements. We've got sugar syrup, which is just equal parts sugar and water. We're also going to add some of this beautiful stuff, which is frangelico, which is hazelnut liqueur. So it just boosts, again, you could, it's delicious. It boosts that hazelnut flavour. If you don't want to use alcohol, you can leave it out, but don't miss out the sugar syrup because it helps moisten the cake. And because the cake's got no fat in it, it helps make it keep a little bit longer.
Yeah.
So all we're going to do is very carefully unroll our cake, and this is where we cross our fingers very tightly. Has cracked a little bit. This is the most it's cracked on me ever.
Fine.
We should be able to get this to look fine. This is partly because normally we wouldn't stop and start. So normally we'd just do it. And it's probably sat in there a little bit too long. So brush it with our syrup just so it moistens. And the reason is, again, it just helps it keep longer. So all we're going to do is add our buttercream. Just place it into the middle. Don't use all of it. You need to keep about a quarter of it for the decoration. And then we're just going to spread that out in a nice even layer. And then we're going to try and roll it up without damaging it anymore. So the easy way to do it is, again, use the parchment. So just press and then pull along. So ours has damaged a little bit, so we're going to have to very carefully try and roll it onto our board. It'll be fine because you won't be able to see it. So all we're going to do is take the remaining buttercream and place that on top, and we're just going to give it a nice coating all the way over. So take your spatula again, spread it over, and this wants to be a really thin layer because it's just being used as a glue. This is the bit that turns a very simple cake into something a little bit prettier and a little bit more fancy for Christmas. You're going to take some toasted chopped hazelnuts and then some of this stuff, which is edible gold powder, and then you're going to tap it just into the bowl. So we've got our really beautiful golden hazelnuts. Take them in your hand and then just very gently press them to the side.
That looks stunning.
It's simpler than it looks.
Yes.
And even if the roll isn't as good as it should be, like ours had little problems today, it doesn't matter because it will taste delicious.
Absolutely.
And if you serve it at candlelight, no one can tell.
And I am going to try a little bit of this.
You see, you need the nuts because it gives texture and crunch.
Thank you so much for coming here
my
today.
pleasure, my absolute
Thank
pleasure.
you. And thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and give us a thumbs up if you like the recipe.